Hello, everybody, and welcome to week 4. So this week is an exam week. You should have or should be able to see the exam in the, I believe it's week 4. Let me verify. Hold on. Bear with me, please. Of course, it would make me sign in. Hold on. Sign into a bunch of other things, but that's not good enough. Sorry, a bunch of other things. Never mind. All right. Boom. So you go to the content section, the exam, if you click on Unit 1, should be in week 4, exam 1. And yes, it should be currently available. So if you go to week 4, exam 1, so content, Unit 1, week 4, exam 1, and then in the assignments module, you will find both of the assignments due this week, which are the first lab report and the first exam. Now, that exam, as I mentioned back in the first week, and I think I mentioned it last week as well, is timed. So you have 75 minutes, all right, to complete that exam. And there are 50 questions on that exam. So you roughly have 1.5 minutes per question. So you have all week. You can take it at any point during the week. But once you start, you have 75 minutes to complete it. All right, I'll repeat that again. You can take it anytime this week, anytime before Sunday, before the end of the day Sunday. All right, you can take it anytime. But once you start, you will have 75 minutes to complete. Okay. Now, you will, because of the fact you only have 1.5 minutes per question, you're really going to want to study before you take that exam. All right. If you're hoping to search through the book and look for the answers, you're probably not going to do so well. Do so well. Okay. So please, 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 please study hard before you take the exam. Okay. So that's the first big assignment, exam 1. The second big assignment is the first lab report. Now, when you did the lab data collection, right, you went through the activity, and at the end, it gave you output. Now, you were supposed, and in the instructions it mentioned to write that down. And if you didn't write it down, let me know, and I will find a way to, I think I figured out a way to let you redo it. But if you have the data, great, because now is the time to use it. All right. So in this first lab, right, everybody did what looked to be a Stroop task. And you did do a Stroop task, but the Stroop task wasn't the main point. It was just a cover for the main manipulation. So some of you guys completed the positive prime condition, and in the output, it told you which one you were in. And others completed the negative prime condition. If you were in the positive prime condition, if you remember when you were doing the Stroop task, there would be pauses, and you would be given a word that you would have to remember. You would do the Stroop task, and then you would have to recall that word, right? And then they give you a new word, do the Stroop task, and recall it. And I think you were given, if I'm remembering correctly, you were given 10 words. All right. Well, if you were in the positive prime condition, some of those words, some of the 10 words that you were given were positive. All right. They implied a positive characteristic. If you were in the negative prime condition, then some of the words, instead of implying positive traits, they implied negative traits. All right. Then you were given a very ambiguous description about somebody named Michael. And then you had to tell or report what you thought about Michael. All right. Well, just like Higgins, Rolls, and Jones found in 1977, we expect that if you were in the positive prime condition, your positive evaluations of Michael will be greater than your negative evaluations. But if you were in the negative prime condition, we'd expect the opposite. We'd expect that the negative impressions would be greater than the positive impressions. Okay? So in the lab report, you need to take your results, you need to write up a method section, really brief. It just really, all you really need to do is, what tasks you did in what order. And don't bullet it, you got to put it into a narrative. So, first I was asked to complete blah, 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 then I was asked to complete blah, 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 blah. And then you just write up a brief paragraph telling me the procedure, what you did and in what order. In the results section, you just need to make an APA formatted table, all right, and an APA formatted graph. And what you put in that graph or table is largely up to you, but there's only so many things that actually make sense. Like you can make a table for your positive and negative impressions, right? And then you can make a graph of the same things, right? And show the differences, because a bar graph helps you see differences and averages. You could use a bar graph and bar graphs are really the only graph that makes sense to use in this particular lab, but you could use that bar graph to show the differences in your positive versus your negative evaluations, all right? And then in your discussion section, so you've got your method section where you tell me the procedure, you've got your results section where you give me your table and results, or table and graph. And then you have your discussion section where you identify 2 concepts from Unit 1 that are relevant to the lab, and then tell me why those concepts are relevant. So you might identify the first concept, tell me why it's relevant, identify a second concept, and tell me why it's relevant. All right? Now, both of those, the lab and the exam, are due on Sunday. If you have any questions, if you're confused about anything, all you got to do is send me an email. Okay, I checked my email this morning. I think I've, or I guess it was this afternoon, but I've responded to all the emails that I've gotten so far. If you have any questions, or if you sent me an email and at the time you hear this and you haven't heard from me, send me another email because it might have been sent to my spam. All right. But if you sent me an email before 2 o'clock, all right, then I've answered it, or I thought I have. So if you sent me an email before 2 o'clock and you didn't get a response, that means something's happened to your emails. So please send me another one. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for this week. Exam 1, due on Sunday at 11:59, and the first lab report. All right. The rubric and guide for the lab report are posted in D2L. I don't have examples of prior labs, but as long as you follow the descriptions and the descriptions I've provided in this video, and to the best of your ability, you'll probably do fine. And if you don't do fine, I'm going to give you feedback. I'm going to tell you, what was wrong, all right? But note that if you did well, then you should be getting somewhere in the range of a B or an A. If you did fine, all right, there's room for improvement, but you didn't exactly bomb the thing, all right? You did fine. You should be getting about a C, all right? If you didn't meet my expectations and at least one, maybe more of the domains, because on that rubric, there are several domains that I'm grading you on, then you're probably going to get a D, all right? And if you didn't meet my expectations on multiples, 2 or more of the domains, then you're probably going to get an F, all right? But if you did fine, you're probably going to get a C. A's, I will go ahead and tell you, A's are not the easiest thing to earn, all right? And I want everybody to have the proper set of expectations, all right? If you're just going through reading the book, doing the minimum required, if you're doing that consistently, you might be able to get a C, all right? If you're just doing what's required and nothing else, that you could probably count on a C. If you're going above that, if you're working extra hard, all right, you can probably start counting on a B. You have to excel, all right? You have to be a standout performer to earn an A, okay? And now those are the expectations I want you to get used to in your head, all right? You have to be a standout performer to earn an A, all right? If you're doing better than average, you're gonna get a B, all right? If you're doing average, C is the average. That's what you'll get, all right? And if you're doing less than average, then you're going to get, a D or less, all right? So that's what I want you to expect. That's what I want you to think of, all right? Now, sometimes the grade won't match the input or how much work you feel like you've put into it. If that happens, come see me, email me. We'll talk about what changes might need to be made, okay? But in general, know that if I give you a C or better, I think you're doing fine, all right? If you're getting a D or less, I think you can work harder or do a little bit better than you're doing, all right? But I have faith that each and every one of you can do not just fine, but well, all right? if you put in the time and effort. All right? All right, guys. So go, please prove me right that you all can not just perform fine, but perform well. All right? All right, guys. That is it for this week's announcements. As always, if you have any questions, send them my way. That's especially the case since many of you may not have started studying for the exam and are going to start this week. So please send me questions with anything you're uncertain about or unclear about while you're studying for that exam and when you're doing the lab report as well. All right? All right, guys. That is it. So until next time, take it easy. Bye, guys.